Our friend Big Z, Zander Krause, joins us now here on a True Football Friday. How you doing?
What's up, Big Sills? How you doing, brother?
Good, man. How you doing?
I'm doing, man. I'm doing. Ready to go. We got football tomorrow for the Birds.
What are you looking for tomorrow night?
Yeah, some backups, some depth, some Sean Mannion. How's he handle it? I think most importantly, though, some of those depth pieces. I think the wide receivers are going to be important. I think the backup offensive line is going to be important. I mean, coming off of last year, if you just assume, hey, they might not be as healthy again, you obviously want to see that. So I think that's important. And then probably the other spot, Sills, would be corner, I think, and edge.
Depth.
What's that?
Depth.
Yeah, depth. And then we'll see the rookies. Obviously, you want to see what Stowers can do, if anything. I felt a little better about what Kaplan said about Stowers, just that he's seen some athleticism and he's got to learn to play the position. So we'll give him the time to see what that looks like. But I'm excited, most importantly, Sills, to see players wearing Eagles jerseys run out onto the field. All right, that means football is back, my friend.
Oh yeah. I would also think that we mentioned this yesterday to you too. I want to see how Sean Mannion gets in and out of plays.
Yeah, I think that's a good point by you.
I want to see how fast the quarterback. Now, let me ask you this about who starts tomorrow. Why I think Andy Dalton maybe is going to be the guy. Don't you think that they want to get a smooth process? And ask yourself this: who gets me out of the huddle and who gets people lined up in a smoother operation and makes it smooth? Tanner McKee or Andy Dalton? Who puts the guys in a position to succeed better?
Well, I think it's Dalton if his arm's not cooked. Like if you get to a certain age, it's like, you know what I mean? Like Phillip was still good enough at 40. I don't know how.
But his arm was cooked.
His arm was cooked, but it wasn't so cooked that is Dalton, does he have a flubber ball? I don't know. I mean, I think that's the only reason that he could be kind of kept out of it. But I think you're right. I think it's Andy Dalton. I mean, look, that shouldn't really be a surprise. I mean, the guy's been in the league for what? How many years? 15 years, 16 years? And won. Yeah, won a good amount. So, I think that's interesting. But we'll see what that looks like.
Do you believe that Jalyx Hunt has become more of an important piece over Nolan Smith in Vic Fangio's defense?
Well, I think he's gonna be, but I don't know that he is yet. Because hear me out. Right now, Jalyx is a better pass rusher than Nolan, or at least they think he's going to be in terms of an upside. But if you have Grenard, let's just say Grenard is healthy. Don't you want the other edge rusher to not be a pass rush specialist and be more of a 3-down edge rusher who can play the run, set the edge, and rush the passer? Because to me, I think Nolan Smith's actually better at that. So if Grenard's not healthy, then, yeah, you need the guy to go get the quarterback. But if Grenard's lining up out there and they need another guy to set the edge on the other side, maybe Vic wants that versatility. Now, on third down, when you want to pin your ears back and go get the quarterback, well, yeah, I think it's going to be Jalyx Hunt. But, on first and second down, I think Nolan could be out there a pretty good amount. I think it depends on Grenard, though, Sills.
69% of the time you're a nickel, though. Remember that. So you're a nickel defense. So I would say this. If Nolan Smith wasn't a first-round draft choice, do you think he'd be ahead of Jalyx Hunt?
No.
I'm going to play this now.
Nolan does do things well.
He's not terrible.
No, he's not. It's just a tough conversation because the expectation exists of him as a first rounder.
Unfairly, but it is.
Well, I don't know that it's unfair. I mean, maybe it wasn't his decision to be a first rounder, but that when you are drafted that high, that's what it comes with.
How would this look be for you, Z, if this goes down? What if Jonathan Grenard is going to labor into this year and he becomes the third guy and a rotating guy because he's just not been able to get himself revved up for the season? Older, hurt, missed a ton of time. He is a veteran. What if a $25 million becomes the third dude and you got Hunt and Nolan Smith starting? Could that happen, in your opinion?
Yeah, I could see that. I mean, I don't think Grenard would go to the bench if he's healthy, though. I
Okay.
think he's good enough, dude.
You don't think they're going to put him on a pitch count?
Well, a pitch count is different than him going to the bench. I mean, I think he will be on a pitch count if he's not back till the season starts. I mean, how could he? He's definitely going to be on somewhat of a pitch count. But I mean, let's zoom ahead to like the playoffs, and you need your best three guys. I think Grenard is going to be one of the better two guys. So I think the bigger question is, who has the better year from a sense of the number two? Does Jalyx become that certified number two? Is it stay rotational? Does Nolan take a big step forward? It just feels like Jalyx is having such good camp. He's got such great athleticism, speed. Johnny Maxson, he's really kind of grown into that NFL body with the NFL weight regimen and everything. He looks the part of an edge rusher now. He looked a little smaller, and when he came out of Houston Christian, so feels like the Jalyx hunt is about to take the top off, but we'll see. I mean, it's still potential. The word that you hate, Sills, which I understand.
The Eagles' top two wide receiver spots are Devontae Smith and Dontavian Wicks. You think Lemon's cemented into that number 3 spot no matter what?
Well, I don't think he should be, but I think he is. I mean, if he's good, then he should be. But I mean, based on what we've heard so far and him not playing, I don't think he should start there, But look, it's hard to say because we haven't seen him. So, like, I might be saying no, and he's really the better player. But that's just going off of, what we heard from a couple practices that he
No, it's going off of how he evaluated him at when he drafted him in the first round.
Exactly.
So he's getting the benefit of the doubt.
One, if he's what we think he is. Or the three.
He's getting the benefit of the doubt, right?
Yeah, and I'm not a big fan of that in a Super Bowl window year. Like I said, we've said this a lot. I mean, I think that's reserved for teams that are I'm looking to compete in 2028. I'm looking to compete in 2027, 2029. I mean, so I think it's a different mode the Eagles have to be in. But again, I got to give them the benefit of the doubt. I mean, I watched him put Jahad Campbell on the bench. I mean, Jordan Davis took a while to get playing time. He was the 13th overall pick. So, I think it depends on the player and the circumstance, and also depends on who's in front of him. Jordan Davis didn't play, but he had freaking Fletcher Cox and I think Javon Hargrave in front of him, if I'm not mistaken. Is that who it was?
Yeah.
Is that who was there?
Don't forget Dominic Sue's in that mix too.
Yeah, right. But remember, they signed Sue because Jordan didn't have a great rookie year.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you had Javon Hargrave, you had Fletcher, you had Sue, Linval Joseph.
Yep, Linval Joseph.
Linval Joseph started at the nose.
Well, was Hargrave? Yeah, Hargrave was there. Yeah, Hargrave had double-digit sacks, I think, that year.
11. Yep.
Reddick at 16. Sweat had 11. Brandon Graham had 11.
Yep.
I mean, that was a crazy year, dude.
70 sacks they had that year.
70 sacks.
Reddick had 16 and a half.
Yep, 16.
16 sacks. Remember, then he went off in the playoffs. He had like 2.5 in the playoffs, too.
Let me see what the playoffs were.
Maybe 3.5. I thought, I know he annihilated people.
3.5, yep.
3.5.
They had 8 total in the playoffs.
Dude, that guy almost had 20 sacks season.
Dude, I'll tell you what, Brandon Graham had a hell of a year.
Yeah,
too.
he had a hell of a year
in the playoffs, and he had 10. I think that was his only year with double-digit regular season.
Did he make the Pro Bowl that year?
I don't know because there were so many dudes.
I don't think he made the Pro Bowl that season.
I don't either. BG had.
He had 11.
11 sacks for BG and one in the playoffs.
Damn,
22 is a crazy good defensive year. Yeah. It's interesting how we all hate, or I don't, but how Philly hates Jonathan Gannon. And that was a pretty crazy defensive output.
I think they ended up number 2 overall, right?
No, I did it. The Super Bowl was number 2 overall. The defense was tough in the Super Bowl. They didn't play very good in that game. But remember, everybody was slipping like a motherfucker out there. When you're a 70-sack defense, you rely on getting home. All of a sudden, your guys are slipping like it's freaking ice rink out there. That's going to take away one of your best things.
Can I give you a Sileo-ism here a little bit here?
Sure.
Can I see? Tell me if I'm going over Sileo and being too Sileo-ish here. Can you help me here?
Sure.
I got to hand it to Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott was asked a question by Kay Adams. Hey, what do you make of your boy George Pickens? Well, I think the Dallas Cowboys should pay George Pickens now. I think what he should do is Jerry should back it up. Let's pay him now rather than later. I want to see my guy get his money. I was like, now that's what I'm talking about. Standing up for your guy. Funny, I don't hear anybody on the Eagles doing this. Hey, Jeffrey, why are we not paying a guy who's been to 2 Super Bowls and won one? How come Hurts doesn't get his money? I mean, but the leaders on the team like Lane Johnson or somebody going, how are you not paying this guy? Why wouldn't you pay that guy?
All right. Well, I mean, it's completely different circumstances. I mean,
Really? How?
George Pickens is on it got franchise tagged.
I know.
Jalen Hurts is still on his big contract. I mean,
yeah, but
he still has fully guaranteed
he's going to have
this year.
Yeah, $24 million next year. He's got to have a new deal coming
Next year. I mean,
Right.
you know,
Well,
so maybe they'll fully guarantee it next year. I think this is a bigger conversation for next year.
Really? Huh?
Yeah, I do. And also, I mean, it's, you know, you're giving Dak the credit. I mean, you know, with all due, I'm fine with him making the big money, but I mean, it's easy to do that and hey, pay my guy once you got your $60 fucking million. You know,
I'm just saying, I would like to have seen Lane maybe step in and go, hey, why are we not giving this guy a new contract extension here? How about a new 3-year deal for the greatest quarterback in Eagle history? Why not? The most accomplished.
I think it would be fair to say, you know, maybe get Devontae a new contract. Devontae Smith.
Oh, we got to see
him
him
a number 1, and he's paid like a number 2.
Whoa! He's been given a number 1. Now he's got to go earn the number 1.
All right, that's fair.
Right? Because I think you're going to see a little bit more of an issue for him this year because he doesn't have what AJ had and what he had, each other. I think they had one another out there, and they feed and fed off one another. You know who you have? Elijah Moore.
Dude,
you
AJ
got
Brown.
Johnny Wilson.
I took you to the woodshed yesterday on AJ.
Get the fuck out of here.
I'm sorry, dude.
Woodshed, really?
I didn't mean to do it.
These self-proclaimed woodsheds are
I
crazy.
Really did it. No, not self-proclaimed. I was reading the comments on that video. Holy moly, the comments were cooking you, man. They were like, Zander took this guy to the fucking slammer, dude.
On what? A comment that Drake May made? That Drake May made on August 14th? A.J. Brown's going to get 1,400 yards and 110 catches this year. And that BS comment that he made when he was playing Donald Trump and being a politician will not matter.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying what happened. I'm sorry it happened. But
hey, by the way, you see that Christian Gonzalez a little banged up after AJ took him to the woodshed the entire game. He's all banged up right now.
What's he? He's crying about a new contract, isn't he?
He is crying about it.
Everybody's crying about a new contract.
Hey, well, wait till Q gets in line.
They're not going to wait.
Bro.
Q, I'll guarantee this right now.
Be the first one? You think he's the first?
Let me guarantee this right now on the show. One second.
Yeah, I'm going to put this down too. Jalen.
No later than March of 2027.
Okay.
By the way, the same month that Baby Krause is due.
Oh, wow.
Wait. Quinyon Mitchell and Cooper DeJean will both be paid no later than March 3rd. What's the last day of March? The 31st? No later than March 31st, 2027. Both Quinyon and Cooper.
The deal, by the way, the new season starts on March 14th. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Wow. Way to go, man. Good for you, dude. That's tremendous. All right, Z, who are you going to address first if you're Howie Roseman come March 14th? Devontae, Jalen Hurts, Cooper, Q.
I think Coop and Q are coming. Jalen's a tougher one because he's a quarterback. I mean,
rank them. I want to hear who you think they're going to address first.
I think Cooper and Q right away.
Okay, so who would you go between those two? Q?
It depends on the agent. I mean, Cooper's probably a tougher negotiation because he's more of a versatile player. You know, do you pay him as a safety, as a nickel? You know, that's tougher. Q's an outside corner. The going rate's going to, right now it's 32. It's going to be maybe 34 or whatever it is next year. They're going to give him the deal. I mean, I'm telling you right now, they're going to give him the deal.
They're going Q because he was a first-round draft choice.
They're going Q because he's a fucking lockdown number one cornerback, dude.
They're going to go Cooper 2. They're going to go Devontae 4. And the big debate will be Jalen Hurts.
I mean, if the team is successful
26
this year,
look like? Well, okay, that's a great.
If the team is successful this year, Jalen will have his deal.
Okay, so if they win 11 ball games, they go 11-6. Oh, but wait a minute, I'll give it better. Say they go 12-5. They win the division. They get bounced in the second round. He throws for 3,200 yards. Are you paying him $62 million?
If they go what did you say the team record was?
12-5, win the division, get bounced in the divisional round.
I think it depends how the playoffs looks, but yeah, I'd give him the contract there. Another year.
You make him the highest paid player in the league.
Another year at 12-5. You got rid of AJ Brown. You got another new coordinator in, and he goes 12-5 and wins the division again.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd give him a contract. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So, in your opinion, the floor for him getting his deal is 12-5, win the division, and you get that's the floor. Getting knocked out in the divisional round.
It always is going to depend how it looks. I mean, they went 11-6 last year. They could have went 12-5, and the offense. I mean, let's call a spade a spade. They never looked like they did a damn thing the whole freaking year. We were like, what is this offense? If it looks like that, I mean, it's going to be a different conversation. The context always goes into it in terms of how it looks and what's kind of the context of the situation. But if you're telling me Jalen goes into his 6 years as a starter and they land in the playoffs again with a fourth division title in 6 years, I mean, I get it. People want the beauty pageant, but good Lord, that's a lot of winning, man, in a tough division. Hasn't been the toughest so far, but there's been no repeat winner since 2001, 2002.
I never thought Aikman was a sexy winner.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I mean, again, I feel the same about Jalen Hurts as I do about Nick. And everybody, it's funny because all the people who hate my takes on Nick, will love my takes on Jalen when it comes to giving him credit. I'm not of the belief that any team can be the winningest team in the National Football League in the last 4 years and have a coach and a quarterback that don't have anything to do with it. I just don't have that belief. Are there ways that they could each be better? Sure. Are there ways that Jalen could be better? Sure. Are there ways Nick could be better? Absolutely. But when you're talking about the big picture and the overwhelming success that team has had, coach and quarterback got to get big credit. And if he does that once again, and they're back in the playoffs and they're back on top of the division, yeah, I'm giving him the money. I think he's earned it.
This new offensive approach, does this give Hurts or Barkley a huge year and a bounce back year? Who has more of a bounce back year with this new offense?
I think it's Barkley because they, if you listen to Sean speak earlier this week, he did kind of tip his hand, not tipped his hand, but he basically told you Barkley's still going to be the focal point of the offense, and I think that's a good thing. I mean, this is so it's been a running team for a long time. They have a great running back in Saquon Barkley, got a good offensive line. Hopefully they stay healthy again. And I think that's the method you want to win with. What I think Jalen needs to do differently this year is when the opportunity presents itself for him to rise up, him to take over a ball game, him to be the guy that raises up the ship, then I think he needs to do that more. I mean, last year when the run game didn't go well, Jalen struggled to do his part in terms of lifting up, everything. In fact, I think he played pretty poorly passing the football. So I think that's what he has to do differently this year, but it's going to be a running year again.
I saw something last week and this week, and you tell me that. So I watched Fernando Mendoza play last night. And last week, I watched Carson Beck play. I saw these young players picking up pro offenses, throwing the ball around, looking pretty sharp. I mean, these are guys that are learning a new system too. These are
Yeah,
guys that are learning the pro system too, right?
passing against practice squad guys, which is okay. Still NFL guys, but yeah, I mean, it's different.
Well, I think, to me, in my opinion, that when you're moving the sticks with shitty players around you, and you're still moving,
That's
and
fair.
you're putting in people. Imagine if I played with better players, would I be able to get myself in a better position? I
Yeah, but
mean,
you could also say, imagine if you played
you
versus better
could.
defense.
Okay,
Yeah.
well, but what I'm saying is, I saw those guys get in and out of plays. I saw those guys getting in and out of throwing the football. We should expect the same from Hurts, right? With this new offense.
In terms of just running the
Being
offense.
being a smooth operation.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I do think you can't be you can't be at this point in your career and not have some of those things down. But I
Like,
got to
it better
give.
not look choppy. It better not look choppy like every series, right?
Well, Jalen is a little bit. His style kind of has always created
A little choppiness.
a little choppiness.
Yeah.
It seems like they're trying to get him a little more out of that, which could be a blessing or a curse. But again, I go back to the unit. The unit has to be great around him, and Jalen has to do his part. Like, that's what I loved about 24. Like, Jalen didn't really have that good of a year in 24. Like, nobody's kidding. Like, he had 2,900 passing yards. Like, he didn't have to do that much. But the thing I loved was when he did, when the game called for him to make a play and be a playmaker, he always did it. He did it in the playoff game versus the Rams. He had a 60-yard touchdown run. Now, the rest of that game wasn't great for Jalen, but, the team won the game. In the championship game versus the Commanders, he had a great performance. In the Super Bowl, when Steve Spags said, I'm taking away Saquon Barkley, Jalen Hurts made him pay. And Spags said that on a podcast afterward. He said, Jalen Hurts fucking made me pay, because I wanted to take away Barkley, and we were successful at doing that. So that's what I think Jalen has to do. I don't think it has to become the Jalen Hurts show. I mean, I don't think that's a great way to go about it for many teams. Unless you're Patrick Mahomes, that hasn't worked for basically anybody.
I looked at Jalen Hurts kind of as a maestro in 2024, where he had the greatest band of all time and the greatest orchestra, and he went like this. Look, I want a lot of drums, which is Barkley. I want a lot of defense, which is over here, the horns. And I think he just sat there and he was more of the orchestrating guy. He didn't have to really be anybody. But then again, he's got moments like Kaplan said. Kaplan doesn't think Hurts is an elite talent. He has elite moments. And I think the one thing that he has to be able to do is he's got to be more consistent on those elite moments, don't you think?
Yeah, I agree with that. I think consistency needs to be not only return, but it needs to be consistently consistent. I mean, you got to be able to rely on the quarterback, and I think that would be a fair criticism of Jalen at this point. There's too much inconsistency that's been there. Now, some of that I think is the way that they play, but look, we said this a little bit ago in the summer. Everything is out in front of Jalen, and I think that's exactly where he wants it to be. You go and handle your business, dude. The bag of gold, the pot of gold is sitting there right at the end of the rainbow. You don't, well, it's not gonna be there. So I think everything's out in front of him. I think the sky's the limit for the team from a sense of, I think the defense could be unbelievable. I think this could be the best defense on the Eagles have had in the last 5 years.
Better Super Bowl year.
I think it's possible. I'm not saying they will be, but I think it's possible. I mean,
you think
you're talking
more
about
talented? You think you're more talented in that 24 defense?
Where do you think they're not as talented? I'm genuinely asking. I'm trying to think about it in my head.
I don't think you're as dominant as you were at the edges in 24.
Edges, we had who? Josh Sweat. I don't know, dude. Remember, we had Nolan Smith, who really was kind of the big guy at the end of that year. Josh Sweat was good. I'm not taking away from Josh.
Josh Sweat had 2.5 sacks in the Super Bowl, didn't he?
Yeah, I'm not taking away from Josh. I'm just saying, could Grenard be Sweat? I think he could be.
Okay. Okay.
Jalyx emerging.
Okay. Got a better Carter.
The corners are. I know we had Slay, but I think the corners are better.
You think Carter's going to be better this year than he was in 24?
I think he would have to be for this scenario to be true that they're better than 24. In fact, I think he's probably the crux point of the conversation. I mean, if he's not, the defense probably won't be. But if you get this new version of Jordan Davis who continues to take steps forward and Jalen Carter's back to his menace self, holy crap, dude. How are you going to play against this defense?
So your secondary was Q, Blankenship, Gardner Johnson, and Slay. You think this group is better?
Well, rookie Q and Slay did miss a lot of time. He went in and out of games. Almost.
And Isaiah stepped in. It's been a pretty good corner up in Minnesota.
Yeah, probably right now on paper, I think they're a little worse. But we also have the benefit of hindsight.
Worse, when you say worse, that's a pretty good unit, and this is a pretty good
That's
unit.
what I mean. And remember, we also have the benefit of hindsight. Like, for example, if I asked you in August of 2024, you would be like, well, what's Zach Bond? Well, what's Josh Sweat? He's been mediocre. What's Isaiah Rodgers? He's not that good. He's been suspended for a year and a half, for 2 years. You know what I mean? So you always have
the fuck was Burks, and he played great in the playoffs.
Exactly. So, we have the benefit of hindsight on that, but I think the defense has a chance to be fucking great. And then you have the run game. I mean, if the run game can get back going and Jalen fills in the blanks, I mean, shit, dude. I think the Super Bowl is the ceiling for this team. I think they can get there. But they got to do a lot. I mean, there's a reason it's hard to win a Super Bowl.
You have no issues with Lane Johnson.
I'm concerned. Just from a health standpoint, he missed half the year last year. You don't get any younger. So I'm a little concerned about it.
Hey,
if he gets hurt, it's going to be very hard to win a Super Bowl.
I know you may disagree. I don't know how your position is on this, but
fuck is this?
That fight yesterday
fucking hit me in the face,
bro. That fight yesterday, Ajomo going after Fred Johnson's knees. Hey, fuck you. Okay, seriously, dude. I get it. Tempers flare, but come on, man.
I know, dude. I kind of agree with you. That's fucked up.
Come on, dude.
That's his livelihood.
Hey, right. You want to fist fight me? I don't have a problem with that. Let's go ahead and go round and round. But diving at my knees like that, and you know that the guy's battling with Markel Bell right now on a swing tackle, you're talking about jeopardizing the guy's ability to stay on the roster.
Yeah.
I think it was a bullshit move, dude.
I agree with you.
And by the way, I don't blame anybody. Fights happen. It's stupid. I hear somebody goes, Sills, don't you blame Nick for? No, I don't blame Nick for any of that. But again, I heard John talking about it, and I was like, yeah, you can't really legislate that shit. All you can tell guys is, I don't want to see this shit out here again. Let's not have this happen again. And you're right.
No, but yeah, there's a difference between, like you said, like punching. You want to punch me in the face? Let's go.
Yeah, let's go.
But dude, you dive at my knee, and I'm a fringe player.
Right. I'm a fringe player battling it out with a rookie that you guys just drafted, and all of a sudden I may lose my job as a swing tackle, and you're diving at my knees, and I may miss time. That's a bullshit move, dude.
Yeah, I think that's a crock of shit. I think that's a crock of shit.
I'm with you on that. You're hurting the kid. Now, hopefully everything got all taken care of, but to listen to John, I guess that thing was brutal. I guess Mauro Jomo was barking and there was about 500 people out there. Probably not a good look. Hey,
and he was screaming like a madman.
I'll ask you one more time. What do you make of that with Howie out there dealing with that instead of Nick?
Well, I asked that to John. I thought that was a little weird.
I mean,
but dude, that's kind of how Howie
shouldn't that be Chris Cooper's job?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, when you have a fight like that, maybe it's above his pay grade.
Yeah, your head coach.
But I think it's Nick. Yeah. I mean, Nick was in there, but that's kind of the way the Eagles roll, dude. Like, and that's Howie. Like, Howie's a great GM, but he's got a little bit of that little man syndrome where he's got to be like, you know what I mean? Like, he's got to get out there. He's got to be the guy. So I think maybe some of that.
I think he puts a stamp on everything that this is my roster. You know how? Do you remember
Well,
that?
that's what John said. He said he controls the roster. You're damn right, that's his purview. But
Do you remember that scene in Indianapolis when he was congratulating guys? They were coming into the locker room. He was patting people on the back, and I was sitting there thinking to myself, "Huh, interesting." Well, Z, we got football tomorrow.
I know.
Who do you think starts?
I think Dalton for like 2 series, and then he's done because he's old. So I don't think he's like, even if he's a backup, I don't think he's gonna want to play. He's gonna be like, bro, play McKee and that dude Cole Payton. I don't want to play.
I want to see Cole Payton.
Me too. I think he's gonna be entertaining.
Oh, I want to see him. I want to see him chuck it. I want to see him get in there.
I've noticed something that you've omitted from your conversation this offseason.
Tell me, please.
We've talked a lot about how the Eagles have consistently brought in backup quarterbacks that do not resemble Jalen Hurts.
Mm-hmm.
Cole Payton resembles Jalen Hurts.
He does. Shitty passer and can run.
Boy, I teed that up on a platter, didn't I?
Hey, Z, so one last question here for you. So when are we looking at the mail to be delivered here? What are we talking about here? What kind of, how many months are we
March is my baby. Are you talking about my baby?
Yeah.
Yeah, March still.
Have we settled on a name?
I don't have a name yet. I got ideas. I got like a ton of boys' names, but girls' names are harder. So I got a couple though. I like but
Jalen.
No. I like good names. I mean, I guess that's a subjective comment, but I like powerful names, if that makes sense. So we'll see.
Comanche Krause.
No, that's not powerful. That sounds like a fucking toy.
How about, let me see here. How about Spike?
Devontae Krause. I'm a fucking white guy, guys. All right? Yeah, Maximus. Now we're talking, Signal. Now we're talking.
Holy shit, I love that. There you go. Now we're talking. Maximus.
I might add that to the list.
Maximus Krause. I actually
Maximus
like
Decimus Meridius. What's
Krause.
that from? That the Gladiator?
Yeah, the Gladiator. Holy shit, that's good there, man. I actually dig that. Maximus Krause.
Saquon, that Devontae Krause. That's hilarious.
No. How about, let's see here. Let me get one. Before I go, let me get one. What would it be? Oh, Spartacus Krause.
No, Sileo, you're way off the mark. You're way off the mark.
Yes.
You're way off the mark.
Yes. Big Z, we will see you, man. We got football tomorrow, bro.
I know, dude. I know.
I loved what Adam Kaplan said, too. Did you hear what he said about the offense? He goes like this. Yeah, man. I'm leaning on the positive side. I wasn't really there, but I'm leaning on the positive side that I think the guy's going to Zeus Krause. Zeus Krause.
Zeus, that's a Greek god. Come on.
Zoe. Come on, man.
Dude, yeah. Wait, that's a weird comment. Underdog, you know why? My family's dog, his name is Zoe, and she passed away last night.
Oh.
Zoe, her name was. She was a great little dog. She loved me. But it was my parents' dog, so I'm not as attached to her. But Zoe was her name. She passed literally last night. 8 o'clock last night.
Terrible.
Yeah.
Cooper Krause.
No. You know how many Coopers are flying around Philly right now? Also, Cooper's a dog's name, I think.
Z, you're in a good place, man. Congratulations to you and Emily, man.
Thanks, brother.
I will see you on Monday, my friend.
All right, dude. Later.
You got it. That is big.